There's an old saying in Bitcoin. That's right. Somehow a 15-year-old cryptocurrency already has an old saying. And that saying is, not your keys, not your coin. And of course, for the most part, we all understand that. It means that if we keep our Bitcoin on a trusted third-party exchange or a trusted third-party platform, more specifically, we may find out that we can't trust that platform. And we may find out that because it's not our keys, it is not our coin. But I think the one thing that we don't expect is when we send funds to an exchange and they steal the funds from us instead of returning them. So they reject the funds that we sent. They tell us that the funds that we sent are tainted, and then they refuse to send back our funds. Now, that personally hasn't happened to me, but this did just recently happen to fellow Bitcoiner Giacomo Zucco with Vole Wallet. And they're kind of taking a really strange stance about this story, so we're going to dive into it. Here we go. On July 9th, Giacomo tweeted, Vole Wallet seems to be stealing user funds. Okay, and here are the details. While I dislike and generally avoid KYC off-ramps, preferring P2P exchanges wherever it's feasible, for reasons of convenience, I did use this on a few occasions. The first few transactions to fund a USD MasterCard went fine. But a few weeks ago, their support desk refused to credit a couple $1,000 USD's worth of Bitcoin deposits. And they're currently refusing to give me back my money. The condition they require in order to return the money is an impossible Chainalysis challenge, giving them on-chain proof of origin of any single output involved in the transaction graph of my funding transaction. My suspicion is that the task is intentionally designed to be impossible to comply with in order to rug pull the users. I'll keep you updated in the coming weeks. Now, interestingly enough, Vole responded back and said that the coins had been flagged as 99% high risk, whatever that means. And of course, they provided absolutely no justification as to what those metrics are in order to fall into this incredibly difficult 99% high risk category. So anyways, so they're claiming that a check is perfectly natural. Nothing extraordinary was requested of Giacomo, just screenshots that show the outgoing transaction at the source. No need to try to pressure us via social media. The checks are 100% justified and legal. And guys, they got ratioed on that response, right? They totally got ratioed on that response. And it's just absolutely embarrassing because, look, companies, they don't want to air their dirty laundry, okay? And what's happening here is that Giacomo is airing their dirty laundry, and they don't like this, okay? Companies like to divulge information in a method that they approve, something that will always make them look in the most positive light possible. And this is exactly what they're trying to do here. But unfortunately, they're not just dealing with some user who has no idea what he's doing. This is Giacomo, so it's pretty funny. Anyways, he responded back to that comment and said it's a false claim. The legality of keeping the money you refuse to process will be addressed in the proper legal venues. The reputational consequences will be addressed on social medias, podcasts, blog posts, etc. Even some conference speech, maybe. That's right. As soon as I saw this thread, I immediately, of course, said, you know what? We're going to help Giacomo out. And we're going to make a clip about this because everybody should know that if they're using Vole Wallet may decide that your UTXOs, for whatever reason, are considered high risk. Now, this is where we get into the interesting part of the situation. So, those funds that Giacomo sent did come from a coin join, okay? He was using Join Market. Now, there's nowhere on their website that states that they will not accept coins from a coin join service. Nowhere. And of course, their defense is nobody says that they won't accept those coins. Fair enough. But if you don't accept the coins, wouldn't you just send them back to the user? Why would you keep the user's funds hostage? Vole Wallet doesn't have the government authority to inflict violence. Only the police has that, and the military. So why does Vole get to do that? It's really strange, and I got to tell you, I don't like the precedent that it sets, plain and simple. Now, I did take a look on their website under their FAQ to see what they do address in case there's a problem. So they've got two different scenarios. The transfer to the card did not go through. So in their FAQ, if your transfer did not go through, here are the reasons. You exceeded the transfer limit. The limit of the recipient card allowed for new transfers. The recipient's card number was entered correctly. So in other words, a user error. And there aren't enough funds. There are enough funds in your account for the transfer. Okay, that's it. So nowhere do they mention anything about join market or high-risk UTXOs, high-risk transactions, nothing. And it would seem that they would want to mention this, right? Because it's called, they're a business, and businesses do something called expectation setting. Well, apparently not. Now, the other piece that they have of this in their FAQ is the transaction was successful, but the funds were not credited to the card. Hey, wait a second. That sounds like Giacomo's issue. So let's see, how do we deal with this? The transaction appears to be successful, but the funds have not been received after 3 business days. Please contact the support team. Okay, so that just means, yeah, we didn't credit your account, and we can come up with pretty much any reason we want not to. And at this point, right, the funds are held hostage. So for whatever reason, they are choosing not to send the funds back. And this is the point of contention. This is the problem. Giacomo's funds are stuck. Vole Wallet is not sending them back. They claim that he has to send them a certain amount of data about the originating transactions, which he's already done. That was provided in screenshots, but Vole Wallet is claiming that they don't have this information, or this information is incomplete. And if you're using Vole Wallet, please be aware, this is something that can happen to you. It appears that Giacomo had done a join market transaction approximately 3 hops before he had sent the funds to this service in order to fund a prepaid credit card. And this apparently is the reason that they're holding the funds hostage. Now, this also kind of begs the final question of, isn't almost every single UTXO at some point going to end up tainted? And then at that moment, does that mean that every single institution that offers a service gets to, at their discretion, just steal your money? This is really scary stuff. And guys, this goes back to one of the earliest discussions in Bitcoin, okay? This whole KYC versus non-KYC Bitcoin, the tainted coins versus non-tainted. This is a bullshit narrative, okay? This is a bullshit. All there is Bitcoin. All there is Bitcoin, okay? It's human beings that decide whether something is tainted or not. None of that actually exists on the Bitcoin network. This is human-created nonsense. That's all it is. Anyways, I do hope that Giacomo gets his funds back. And at that point, I hope he stops using Vole. Yeah, there's nothing worse for a company than to destroy its reputation and any future business that they might have by essentially treating their customers with contempt.